discussing it here doesn't seem to be appropriate to me. And asking a question, you know, being concerned about the Ethics Commission and things like that, that concerns me. So I don't want to make that mistake. So I would rather have my discussions in front of the public so that the public will always know what we're talking about. That's a personal preference of mine.
But Jeff,
All right?
I have
So-
to.
But I'm not challenging you.
Jeffrey.
It's not a challenge.
Jeffrey, the one thing you have to realize is before you can have something that the board can discuss, somebody's got to put it together.
Right.
Yeah, but we've done that. We've done
They've
that.
done that,
Yeah.
right?
No, we do as a board. Everything is done as a board. I know, I'm not gonna take anything away
No,
from
but
anybody about
th-
the hard
this-
work,
But no,
but we
Jeff,
do everything
no,
as a board.
look at it this way, and we're gonna deal with this with projects, right, whether it's wastewater or whatever, right? Some board members are responsible for getting something pulled together to bring to the board for review, comment, change, and approval, or not, right? So it's not like the board can meet and do all the nitty-gritty work at every meeting. It just doesn't happen that way.
Obviously, and I do know that, but a lot of the conversation does have to be in front of the public, so
And
they know what we're
we're
doing.
gonna have a
Go-
complete
Yeah, so
public review of this document on November first.
I understand that. That's
Okay.
why, did I not ask if you think that my questions should
Well,
be saved for
the
then?
first question was okay, and now we're back and forth, and we've started a debate on it. Let's stop the debate at this point. We'll wait until November first. School department's committed to make adjustments to some of the numbers that were in there. That information's been already sent over to Carl. I emailed it while I was here earlier this evening. Okay? Both Carl and the superintendent, Mrs. Willis. Okay?
Okay.
Town administrator's report. Now we're gonna put Mrs. Stats on.
Well, I believe the town administrator did close it in your packet, so he did summarize the items there.
You're supposed to select somebody to go to that.
Yeah, okay. Remind me. Mrs. Stats.
As I said, the town administrator did summarize his report for you gentlemen, so if there's any questions, I can
Well, why don't I
make
just go
notes.
through it then, okay?
Okay.
The first item was, Greg had brought this up before, Moody's has assigned a AA2 bond rating to the town of North Reading in conjunction with the issuance of the $4 million of general obligation bonds that we approved in September. And our previous rating was A1. Now, AA2 is better than A1, just for public consumption. May be very
good thing.
confused with the ratings. So, as a result of our financial management through this period, we've actually gained one step up on the rating, which results in our ability to finance things at perhaps a lower interest rate, thus saving money over the long haul. Town clerk notes a change in the new open meeting law that took effect on October 1st. The Attorney General recently determined posting a meeting notice on municipal website will meet the requirements for 24/7 under OML. Mrs. Stats, you want to comment? This is one you should be able to comment on.
I certainly should. This is a very long anticipated and welcome change to the original regulations that were issued that did not consider website postings to be sufficient for the 24/7 posting. And there was an open period for persons to give their feelings on this to the Director of Open Government. And quite interestingly, from the beginning of that position, which was July 1, we already have a new Director of Open Government that took over sometime in mid-August. But we've been dealing with that person. It's Britte McBride, and they did issue the new regulations. They got a lot of feedback from a lot of different groups, clerks, I think the MMA, and persons who said that that posting would provide the best notice to the public to meet the 24/7 notification. So I am in touch with our virtual town hall support staff to try to see how we can effectuate that so that we can get not just the meeting notices, which currently are on the calendar, which is part of the virtual town hall package. Those notices of all the board and committee meetings are posted there, but we want, of course, include the agenda now, which is part of the notice as of July 1. So currently, I'm still maintaining the notices at the police station to satisfy 24/7 availability, at least, while we do that. And of course, the notices are still required to be posted or kept at the town clerk's office for viewing. But we will be working with virtual town hall to get these up on the website.
Is there additional charge?
Well, that's what I'm trying to ascertain from them. I have reminded them that this is a service that many of their customers might be looking to now. There are third-party vendors that are out there selling this service, but I definitely don't want to go that route. I think we have a good website, and in some fashion, we can utilize it. What I'm trying to find out is a method of scanning these notices in where they open up right away to the meeting, rather than having to click and click to filter down to whose meeting notice it is, because that would be less than optimal. So that's the issue. We can certainly get them up there, and persons can click on a heading that just says meeting notice without knowing what it is and open it up, but that would require you to look through all of them to see the one that you wanted. So we're trying to find a direct method of having these up there, and that's the issue.
Well, it seemed to me, they service a large number of
They do.
communities in town, and if they have to write additional code for the websites,
It would
they
be, it
should
would
share
be
the
an
cost
enticement.
across the,
Yeah, it would
the
also
whole
be an
client base.
enticement, though, for all of the communities that they don't service yet to try to get them on board if they offered this. So I've kind of mentioned that to them in the hopes that this will be a service that they will just provide to their municipal clients.
Okay.
So
thank you, Barbara.
we'll keep you posted on that, but it is
Any
welcome.
other questions on that? Okay, the town council,
Okay.
Town council has indicated that the Palermo versus North Reading lawsuit has reached the end of the appeal process, with the U.S. Supreme Court refusing to hear the case. You may recall the appeal center saw on a land taking for Eisenhower Pond Park and damages previously awarded by jury. This case is closed. There's no remaining litigation resulting from 2005 eminent domain takings at Eisenhower Park. This was the last of them.
That's not bad, only 5 years, all done.
No, we still owe it to a previous board member who brought most of those settlements a lot quicker than we had ever imagined, getting that off of our back. But it's good to know that this thing, which didn't seem to want to go away, is gone. Greg, I think he may have expressed this to some of us. He has certainly to me after town meeting, and that was the no vote at town meeting regarding the cross easement access agreement. And I think, Greg's point of view is he urges the board to resubmit the article for consideration at the April town meeting. We have plenty of time to think about that. And maybe in the process, go back and
Renegotiate the agreement.
renegotiate the agreement. It might give us a little bit of leverage on the, was it the Wright Street issue was the issue you
Mhm.
had with the language in that? Although I still, I guess my point of view was that I don't see we're having that language in there did anything one way or the other, but.
It didn't. The original, one of the original proposals that was put forth for consideration by the board, if you recall, had more specific language to the Smith property as they currently own it, which the board rejected outright. And then the subsequent agreement that the majority of the board supported included that the board would not restrict commercial vehicle use on Wright Street. And it didn't have any impact as to the town's right and ability to monitor and enforce current zoning bylaws as to what might be taking place on any of those properties there.
No, it specifically references the Smith property. It's paragraph 8.
Right, but it says restricting commercial vehicles to the Smith property over Wright Street.
In my opinion, if the document is
Which you wouldn't do anyway.
Well, the way I think about it logically. And I haven't been down there, I don't know what's going on or not going on at the Smith property. But if there is a business being run out of there, where there's commercial vehicles being run out of there, and that document is executed with that language in there, and then an issue develops at some future date concerning whether or not there is a legitimate business being run out of that property with commercial vehicles, and the town looks to preclude that at a later date, this document would be held up in defense of that. That's my opinion. It specifically references commercial vehicles in the Smith property.
And we had, and I respect your opinion, but we had the language that was agreed to by the majority of the board run through town council with that specific issue addressed. And, get a bunch of lawyers in the room, you got a bunch of different opinions.
I just don't want to.
Again, I think the board was very cognizant of it. I think town council is extremely cognizant of it. And I think what was crafted was something that was certainly workable and didn't put the town in jeopardy. Because if it had, as I originally pointed out in the original proposal put forward, which I disagreed with and I brought up, I thought it was satisfactorily addressed. Again, but we have an honest disagreement. But as a result, again, you put forth some arguments at town meeting that the majority of the people there agreed with.
So let's just move on.
So it's, but what we have is a $3 million piece of property that we have limited access to, so.
I won't sign off on something that I think could negatively impact the town in the future, because a mistake may have been made in researching that property before the town purchased it. I'm not going to compound that error by signing off on a document that years down the road, someone's gonna come back and say, why did you ever sign this cross easement agreement with this language in
I
there?
don't think there's anybody sitting here that would. There just happens to be a difference of opinion, a difference of legal opinion, too.
Okay.
But I concur with the town administrator's recommendation that we need to bring something forward in April to
We'll
get it
certainly have
resolved.
plenty of time to discuss it in time for our April town meeting. I think what he's leading into is that, does the finance committee have to approve that?
Yes, with any article defeated,
Right.
has to have FinCom approval if it's brought up before another year goes by.
If it has legal implications, financial implications, not if it's, not if the finance committee doesn't find it necessary to give a recommendation. I don't recall that they did in this.
I'm just looking at it through the charter, what
It's
states
for
in the charter.
financial
Yeah.
matters, not all matters, financial matters, correct?
Well, if you want to consider this, a financial matter too.
Well, wouldn't they determine that anyway?
We certainly don't, it's an item, an issue that we're gonna have to deal with again. And, and it was the LUC that made the request to move this thing forward. So, I guess I'd wait to see what they wanna do next.
Yeah, as the liaison to the LUC, I concur with the TA's point here. And whether when we go forward with this, if we are unable to change the wording, I think we should still recognize this and go forward with it at April town meeting. And I would, put me on record, I would like to be the one to present this one. So, because I think it's important that we have the $3.3 million tied up. Which I understand Mr. Delaney's concerns, but we really do need to go forward on this.
Bob, I mean, Sean's point is just in the best interest of the town. At this
course.
point, it's been voted down at town meeting, we have to move on. But in between now and when we address this again,
Yeah, there is
wouldn't it be
time
appropriate
to-
for Sean to have an opportunity just to speak with our town council that gave us the guidance that said that the language that we were all agreed on didn't put us at risk? Let them have their discussions external of any meeting, and then let Sean come back and address us, and then we can just move on.